I have a lot of messages here to handle in Discord. I don't. Cause I mentioned ever hate. I mentioned that I hate Discord. Testing, testing. One,
There
two,
we go.
three. How is my audio?
Very clear now. Very clear.
Sweet.
Like you're in the recording studio.
I have to restart Discord every time. It doesn't. I closed source software is wrong.
Remind me to add that to the eventual like Jason Krenner sound box. Like sound button thing.
Oh, I can't even imagine what that would be in any positive terms.
It would just be, yeah, it would be this. It would be like closed source software is wrong. I hate technology. And then, you exclaiming every board to like, fuck it, Beagle.
I
Beagle.
love technology. What are you talking about?
Oh, known technology hater.
I am not. I am absolutely positively not a known technology. I hate bad
There's some
technology.
BeagleCast quote like episode early on where he said something like, "I hate technology."
Oh, I can use hyperbole at times.
No, I know.
What is this going on? Maybe I need to reboot my BeagleY. My BeagleY-AI is. I haven't really. I did a few things with it this last week, but nothing that interesting. I'm running in restricted mode. What? Well,
Yeah, that's for streaming. I think it hides like usernames and stuff.
um, failed diversion mismatch. I did an update. I did an upgrade, upgrade. So maybe I
Yep.
need to do a reboot. Because that was kind of the last thing I did. Was do a sudo apt update, apt upgrade dash y was the last thing I did because I saw when we were working on it last week, which you missed out on, we did a set of UDEV rules. So that the dev, my brain's unable to context switch sufficiently, but um, technology is supposed to remember this for me, right? That's what's supposed to happen when technology is really good, right? Um,
Technology's getting really good at forgetting things now.
so BeagleY Zephyr, I've been trying to keep everything kind of neatly under BeagleY Zephyr. I moved my kind of README notes up to the top page of that so that I can try to stay a little bit organized.
Mhm.
Put issues in here to kind of look at things we're working on. But we did an update here to repos.
You're not
And
sharing your screen,
oh, what do you mean? Oh, that's because I can't. Zephyr doesn't play nice. Um, so um, those that have been joining have learned to find the YouTube stream to see the screen.
Gotcha,
Um,
gotcha, gotcha.
the Let me paste that, but um, pull this into the chat. Oh, Ayusha's not able to chat today. We need to keep it short anyway. We're going to do um, the podcast here just shortly, but I just wanted to show you what we did the last week was finally went and created these UDEV rules, and then Robert merged those. So now, whenever you boot up, there'll be /dev/remote proc and the name of the R5 on your BeagleYs if you have new images. So let's. I rebooted now. Hopefully, everything is happy. Um, and sure, I trust the authors of the home directory here. Um, so if we open up the little terminal window, should have a new kernel as well. R63, I don't know if that's really new, but if we look under dev remote proc, and if I could give any way for Discord to actually stream properly, I would do it, but it just doesn't work. Unfortunately, there's like a multi-second lag for you watching the screen on YouTube, but at least the YouTube stream works, and if you watch the YouTube stream later, the audio will be synced.
And Andrew's here too. Andrew, you made it.
Ooh, well, we might just actually tackle something with Andrew here. All right, so where we're at, I think the next biggest problem for us to solve is we can't stop what's running, right? So if we look right now, we've got dev tty rp like shows up because I have a valid firmware image loaded. I think we've gotten to where we can rebuild that consistently here on target. Right now we're still manually loading up the environment. We go into this MicroPython test project. You see that there's some and Andrew, if you want to see the screen, you have to join the YouTube video stream. But you see there's a virtual environment there for the Python stuff. Series source virtual environment, then activate there. But you also have to source the Zephyr environment script, and that gets everything ready to do the building, right? So that's where the two places where all the environment variables get set up, and we can just build locally. I think we need to clean up the image a bit so that we don't have to have our local copy of Zephyr, right? So we can have a pre-copied version of Zephyr that people can use in some other location. So I think we got to think about how that could work. But building on here is actually reasonably fast. I can never remember the commands, so I just cat them out of the CI build, right? And at some point I'll need to figure out the magic foo to enable pasting in the terminal by default. But that's how we can build locally, and we're working eventually on enabling West Flash. But the biggest inhibitor for West Flash right now is the ability to stop the running program, right? So once you build it, right, the install is a simple copy. We went through last time and we did some edits in Zephyr itself that we'll probably want you to pick up, Andrew, because we've got this remote proc runner now. So we went and created a Python script. It's not fully set up. We're still trying to figure out a few things of where to grab the L file and everything, but we kind of learned a little bit of the infrastructure for West commands to be able to add a remote proc runner. But I think we want to put that into kind of our base setup. We can push that later, but so that when we do a West Flash build, is that where it goes? Build, wherever it's ended up putting it. It's about halfway done building. I think I said put it in the MicroPython directory. Yeah, build MicroPython. Oh, this one doesn't have the environment source. Zephyr shell source that here. So we'll probably want to put some environment variables into a developer image that are set there by default. But right now it won't actually, trying to do a dumb rebuild, but it won't actually flash, but it'll just tell us that it's going and grabbing the file for flash. But we don't have a way to stop. That's where I was trying to get to, Andrew, is that getting the patches so that we can stop the running. This is just a dump of the variables available inside the runner. We were trying to look at, right now it's dumping the config, but we were trying to look at the various information that we have available to the runner to figure out which core we built for, so that we know which core to load the L file to. Yep. So now I think the biggest problem to solve is the not able to stop, right? And so what I mean by that is if we go into dev remote proc, this is running on the main. We got a little confused last time. It looks like the main RF is offset. It's got an offset address.
Yeah, there's. You mean it looks like where you would think the second core should be?
Yeah, because of the
right.
Just because it's not at like a very even number, so it looked like where you'd think the second core would be, but it's the first core, and none of them seem to show the first cores. Looks like all of them. So we've got 3 of them that are showing up, and none of them are showing like the second core. They're all in single core mode.
They, I believe, on this device only have single core. Maybe Andre, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
No.
I have to look at the data sheet, but I think they're all the single core variant.
So there's no lockstep execution or any of that.
There's no locks. I believe there's no lockstep. There's 2 R5s technically, but I think only one's really usable.
From what I recall from the TRM, the data sheet at least, that I thought they had second cores because they had memory maps that corresponded to the other ones, but I could be wrong there. I could be confusing that with the TDA4 VM.
My best guess is. I was just going to say that they probably copy pasted, because I believe the cores internally, don't quote me on this, this is internal secret information, but they're actually the same integration. So I believe they're just stuck in lockstep mode always, right, as opposed to building a new. Okay. So I think a lot of the data sheet is just copy paste, but no, you only get 1 core. But I think you get the safety benefits. You don't get to know it. So.
Okay.
But let's see. So we've got there should be 3 cores, and in the data sheet it's even worse because they don't refer to them consistently. You got a management core, which is the main domain core, and then you've got a device something core. Yeah, it's funny. It's
the lining up of the different names with what's in the data sheet. It was very tricky, right? But I think this is based on the device tree names. So we went and looked at the device tree and chose the names here based on that. Right. So this is going to be our kind of default nomenclature. We can't exactly push it upstream because it's a UDEV rule. So I don't know of what upstream to kind of push it towards so that everybody has this experience if they're not running a specific distro. But I find it a lot more pleasant to have a remote proc in the name versus to go and look under sys class remote proc and then try to take a guess on what's it, name? You have to search the name in order to find out which one it is.
Oh, right. Like the firmware name maybe would.
The firmware name, but thing is that can also be changed, right? That can even be changed at runtime.
Sure, but the kernel will start with a firmware name. that's been given to it from device tree.
Yeah, but it's at the startup, right? And I know
Right.
the wake up one doesn't have one assigned because it's not meant to be reprogrammed.
Right.
But the other ones, they give you a name, but like I would override that if I wanted to like have a custom image, right? Because I would want to be able to put under lib firmware all of the possible images that I might want to run, and then specify them with either a device tree overlay or something else that happens at boot time in order to load the specific firmware, right?
Well,
I would prefer to have my firmware called MicroPython if it's MicroPython firmware, so I know what firmware my...
No, see, that's what I do too. But what I do is I have a system link, a symlink, right? And that has the real name, and then it just points to it, so I can just see which firmware I point to, and I can switch them out really quick.
True, that's a reasonable approach, right? Is to make this file here a symlink, and then you could use something like deb alternatives, depackage alternatives. To specify.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, to really to get this close to a halfway releasable condition, we really need to be able to do the echo stop, right? Because like I can't I can't do a reasonable amount of... Why is it hanging? Okay, there we go. They're finally timed out. But like I can't do a reasonable amount of development and debug if I can't start and stop the R5.
Okay, so you're going to need two things for that. First, what you actually need to have happen is the firmware needs to go into like a WFI state, because we can, in the Linux side, pull the plug, but that can cause issues, and you can even lock up the bus if you do that wrong. And then of course you need the Linux side. So what we've got devised is that the Linux side should send a message over to the firmware, say, okay, whatever you're doing, I'm gonna stop you. You should get a WFI, and the firmware should respond, okay, I'm about to go into WFI. It's safe to pull the plug. Without that, Linux just won't pull the plug, because it knows that if it does that, it could take down the entire system. So that's those are the two missing pieces, and they're both in our evil vendor tree. We have this kind of working for some of the MCU Plus firmware as a bit of a demo, and it's just not been brought to Zephyr yet. So
yeah. So what does that look like? I mean, so I have to put something in the firmware to make that work.
If you want to do it safely, yeah. You'll want to respond to that message. You could also just hack it up in Linux, and that's what I've been doing for a while, where it doesn't care about the message or the state of the core, and it just shuts it down.
So where can I kind of grab that version of Linux?
Where can I find that code? Let me do a little search in here, and
because that, we should be pulling in most of your patches. It's not ideal, right? We want to try to be upstream as possible, but in the practice, we run if you see the TI kernels, right? Those are supposed to contain most of the vendor patches.
Right.
And
so
we were kind of
focused...
trust you to reduce the difference over time.
Yes. Which is why we do the upstream first development, which is exactly where this patch is hidden, is that we're trying to push this upstream first, and then we can backport it to our trees. So, like I said, let me just move all these windows off to the side, and I will take a quick look.
Maybe if I tried the 6.12 kernel, maybe I'd be in better shape.
No, you'd be in probably worse shape at this point. It's really early in the migration. And remote proc has, historically been one of those subsystems that's not been upstream as much. I think we're getting better, but you'll still be missing, for sure, the message passing, the power management messages.
Oh, I need to put my Boris on Tux upstream. So what else is so do you know what it might be called?
No, I do not. Let's see, who is working on this? Maybe Ari, Belishvars. I'm just trying to search by author because I know who might have been working on it. So let me see if I can't.
Does it happen to be the detached check?
Hang on, let me look at your screen. What did you find? Yeah, that's might be some of it. Let's see. Drop check. No, that's that's for the late attach stuff.
So where do I float around on get.ti.com to find the vendor kernel these days?
Should all move to GitHub?
Oh, it's all moved to GitHub?
Should have.
I should check out this Debian repos repo. Linux kernel, that's a auspicious name. So TI kernel only has 2 branches though.
That doesn't seem right. I don't think we mirror all of our TI branches. Here's. I think I found the. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I found what we're looking for. So first of all, the TI kernel, and then I'm just gonna post the patches. They are in our 6.6 tree. So let me post those here in a second. Found them. I got to find the commits that they go with. Yeah, remote. Let's see. By the way, all of our trees are get.ti.com / yep, okay. So copy. Our vendor tree is still. Oh, I can't find the text thing in Discord. There it is. Okay. Kernel. And the first commit I found that looks like gonna be that number. I gotta find. Searching Git is kind of difficult to go in the other direction. I can find all its parents, but I'm not sure what was submitted after this. But then searching for RP mailbox shutdown is the message that gets sent. So,
which tree are you finding
that? That's gonna be our 6.6 vendor kernel, and that's the string you're gonna want to search for, and that should get you everything else.
Which tree though?
Let me move my windows around. Hold on, so I can see what you see.
Well, I'm looking at our where Robert's cherry picking your patches.
Okay,
I just don't know where he cherry picks them from. I thought it was somewhere off of get.ti.com.
Yeah, sure it is. Because I don't think I know we post some things too. There's a TI mainline branch we have on GitHub, but that is maintained independently. That's supposed to be all of our carried patches rebased every cycle, and I don't think it's been maintained in a little while. TI-Linux-kernel.
So I thought we were TI-Linux-kernel.
Yeah, so if you remove the processor SDK and
on processor SDK/Linux, but it's not Linux, it's TI.
Yeah, I wouldn't mess with any of that. That's all the down. It might be just a mirror, but I wouldn't use it. So instead of processor SDK, because it's the project name, it's TI. Yeah, actually, I think I should be able to just open up this up really quick and send you the link.
Yeah, I've been looking at TI Linux kernel before. TI Linux kernel. That's definitely one I've been looked at in the past. So the 6.6.64 or the 6.6
.y. You're gonna want a branch. So up at the top, down.
The RT or the non-RT? Probably
non-RT. Yeah, you're gonna have to go to click more, or you can just click right there, the CI/CD, and just delete the CI/CD part of it.
Looks like Robert is still off of 58. I mean, he might have a 63, and I just didn't look for it right. V6.6. See if he's done a base off of 63. This search takes forever, so. Alright, so you say in here I can find RP message. Can you repeat the description? Yeah, it looks like he hasn't done 6.63 yet. So maybe we will need to bump our kernel from 58 and do another rebase of patches, or we're just another. There's so many different tags in our kernel tree. Still there, Andrew?
Yep. Yeah, just was searching. I think I pasted something. If you want the exact.
Where did you paste
patches.
it? Thank you.
Yeah, and that should also the commit description.
So is this just a single patch then?
No, it's a series, but this is the one that does it to the R5 cores, which I don't know, would be a good reference, especially if we work with the R5 cores. But it's identical in all the other ones. You send that shutdown message mailbox, and then you get back the ACK, and that's what lets the kernel know that it's time to shut down. And it's what the firmware should do, is it should of course go into WFI and get ready to be shut down. So
is there a way that there's not a way that I can shut it down even if it's misbehaving?
There is, but as I said, it's not guaranteed to do the right thing, because if there's bus traffic, and you shut down the power, because this is like an actual power gate. the bus going between the cores could actually lock up, and then you won't be able to restart the core again.
So there's not. Shouldn't there be a safe way to shut it down without power cycling it? Like in a way that would terminate any bus transactions from as controlled by the host processor instead of having to rely on the target processor itself to shut down nicely?
I mean, that does sound like the ideal situation, but this is probably a design flaw. I don't want to say flaw, Gotta be.
Well, I mean, you might think of the R5s might be considered the keepers.
There are some. Well, there's the MCU Island one has FFI, and so it actually does have timeout gaskets on the bus that basically prevent locking the system. That's a safety thing. In the non-safety parts, there's really nothing we can do. Like, because it could be talking, and again, you can actually just like glitch. I mean, that's true for any system. I mean, when you're pulling the power,
Sure.
Unless you isolate it, you would have glitches as it powers down. It does weird things.
So this WFI state that you have to go into.
We don't have to. Like I said,
WFI stands for wake from interrupt.
Oh yeah, wait for interrupt. And I don't ever do that. Like I said, when I say it's unsafe, I mean like in a production environment. If you're going to have to do this continuously, you want to be safe. On my desk, yeah, I just pull the plug, and I've never ran into problems. Maybe once.
Pull the plug software wise.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it's physically clock and power gating the core, so it is an actual physical process. But I'm not saying like pull it out of the wall. I'm saying, turn off the power gate the R5 core.
So you have a different patch that just kind of forces it.
Yeah, I don't wait for this ACK. I basically, instead of timing out and then saying, hey, Linux will just print out and say, I can't shut it off. It's not in the safe state. I just go and do it anyway. So I think I took our top of our kernel, and then I just commented out the check. So when you tell it to turn off, it just runs through, and then instead of failing on timeout, it just continues.
Okay, wait for completion, timeout, and then go to out. And instead of going to out, you just do the core
I just
halt.
let it go. Right. So if you get rid of that, go to out. You still get the message, which is good to know, but...
So what did it... So right here, if I got a failure, it says can't... So timeout wait on completion. So I probably do have this patch.
Yeah, this was submitted a while ago, so I doubt it was just sitting there in the latest. So you probably do have it, but that's what's keeping you from because your firmware is never responding.
Right. So
that's why you're timing out.
If I look in drivers remote proc TIK, so if I just go, I'm actually running the 6.1 kernel. I should probably just upgrade to 6.6 at least. But if I go look in the code tree here, code, what do you do? Repository, maybe. Drivers, remote proc, and there's going to be TIK3, R5, remote proc. And if we scroll down to somewhere along the lines of
this way you can just search that error message because it's usually right there.
The error message is timeout waiting for RPR completion of it.
Yeah, whatever you got in the console, right? That one.
Yep. And so right now, if I just, instead of returning eBusy, just print out shutting down anyway, and go ahead and get to this core halt point, then it'll go ahead and I can recover it without implementing this message handler. Because otherwise, what the right way to do it is to put into my firmware something that changes this into this wait for interrupt state, right? Or give it back this message, right? So it's sending message, whatever this message is that it's built here, right? And where's message defined? RP, okay. Inbox shutdown.
Right. And I'm going to implement this into Zephyr, right? I've got some hidden patches, but I just, I've got enough stuff just sitting on the.
So it'll be in the RP message implementation, right? In the part that's the OpenAMP side of things. That's where you're gonna put it.
Yes, yeah, because I want this to kind of be standard. Because I can't really figure out a better spot for it, right? Because if I put it in the application, then every application has to grow this functionality. So I want to put it deeper in the stack. So I'll have to work with Banamp folks and maybe get some sort of better protocol for, standardizing messages like this.
Okay. Well, that's a good bit of knowledge. So otherwise, I think we can get some clear runway on that. If you're wondering at all, like what we're trying to do, if I'm not making it clear on the BeagleY-AI /Zephyr, the notes here, like if there's anything you want to keep us aligned with, right, file some issues or stuff over here, that would help, right? But I'd say we're still not doing a great job of communicating what the ideal developer environment is, but it's essentially going to be an SD card image that you plug it in and you're ready to develop applications, along with providing some sample applications like MicroPython, right, that we can have a West file, just like a simple, we shouldn't have to do an extra clone of Zephyr just to get a project going, right? So we're just putting, this is kind of our project template of an example, right, is the MicroPython test, right? We're just pulling in stuff using West.yaml. Pulling in MicroPython makes sense because this is a MicroPython specific application, all right? But we want to try to avoid pulling in Zephyr, if that makes sense, right? Having to do an extra clone. So that's something we're going to have to try to figure out, is how either do a local clone.
Okay, perhaps have a copy just always sitting somewhere in a
on the
share
on the SD card, right? Because we want to be able people to be able to compile quickly. Mm-hmm. Ultimately, you want to be able to just take the same thing and build it on a faster build machine, do things like in the CI, have other ways of building Zephyr projects quickly, but we want to have an on-target development environment where you can iterate and rebuild, and just kind of move quickly, right? Get OpenOCD working so that we can monitor the R5s. All of the kind of local hosted development tools, so we can make a seamless development environment, right, where we can kind of control all the setup, right? Because you're not in a instead of trying to say, oh, you must have an Ubuntu so and so machine and you must have all these other dependencies, or run things in Docker, or all these other craziness things that people do to try to get a regular environment. We just want to use the fact that, hey, you're running this on a BeagleY-AI, just put this SD card image and go.
I can see that. Then your only real odd step would be, downloading and flashing the SD card to get started, which I know is...
Yeah, but you have to do that anyway.
Right.
Yeah, and then we're trying to... Go ahead, Andrew. What were you saying?
No, I was just thinking they are embedded systems. Like my whole development environment is, everything is network booted, and So it's a very different style. Trying to, I guess it's dog fooding, right? Hey, the logo's a beagle, right? So perfect for dog fooding. Running everything from your own device, right? So yeah, it's a good goal, and it does show all your, make sure that you have an actual like full competent system. If you can start developing and be self-hosted, right, you're not missing anything.
Yeah, no, I think absolutely we need to. The dog fooding is a super important part of all of this, right? And also the flashing process itself, right? This BB imager, right? We're rewriting in Rust. It would actually run on a Beagle. Like if you have a booted image, you could use it and put in a USB dongle in and flash your SD card for the next image that you want to boot, right? I mean, it's network boot would be a nice step, but I don't know that we have to get there. But we do want to make the create the image stuff really easy. Create the image, put the image on here. We're also working on, as part of this, we've been working on a easier way, and this needs some more thought. But this project takes a Docker image. So if you can build the image that you want to run as a Docker image, and produces SD card images. Right, so you just create a Docker image of what you want to run, and this will go grab a kernel and build out an SD card image. So,
okay.
So simplifying the process of people creating custom SD card images as well.
I see.
Using GenImage. Right, just using a simple gen image, but I think the thing that needs to be worked out here much better is the way to grab the kernel. Right, so right now we're just going and grabbing the deb files, extracting the kernel, and putting the kernel and bootloader on the image, on the disk image. All right, well, we're over time. I'm excited to have had you. I just wanted to let you think about some of that stuff in terms of experience, as well as think about what we're trying to put together. So much appreciated. Anytime you have any updates on what you're pushing into Zephyr, please join and let us know about it.
Okay, yeah. You might see me more on the Yocto. Maybe some more TIers. I think Discord finally got re-unblocked at TI, so hopefully we'll have a few more of us around here starting now. So
right, Andre, we're dropping from this. Is that good? Seemed like you came off mute. All right, bye y'all.
Thanks everyone. Yeah, it is.
And stop the stream. How do I stop the stream? In stream. There we go.